The story of the Anunnaki begins thousands of years ago in the fertile lands of ancient Sumer, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, where one of humanity's first civilizations recorded its history on clay tablets that still puzzle scholars today. For these writings speak of powerful beings who came from the sky bringing knowledge, technology, and laws, beings known as the Anunnaki, a name meaning, those who came from Anu, or, those from the heavens, and according to the Sumerians, they were the children of En, the god of the sky, and Ki, the goddess of the earth, who lived in the heavens but frequently visited earth, building cities such as Eridu, Uruk, and Nippur, raising massive ziggurats as bridges between heaven and earth, and gifting humanity with skills like writing, mathematics, architecture, agriculture, and medicine. Yet within these tales lies the possibility that the Anunnaki were not mere myth but actual beings who shaped the course of human destiny. For in the 1970s Zecharia Sitchin proposed a controversial theory that the Anunnaki were in fact advanced extraterrestrials from a distant planet called Nibiru, which he claimed follows an elongated orbit around the Sun and approaches Earth roughly every 3,600 years, and that these beings arrived on Earth long before modern humans existed, seeking resources, especially gold, to repair their planet's atmosphere, setting up mining operations in Mesopotamia and Africa, and finding the work too arduous, they supposedly decided to create a new species, selecting an early hominid and genetically engineering it by combining their own DNA with that of the earthborn creature, a process described symbolically in Sumerian texts as shaping man from clay, until the successful creation of a being called Adamu, eerily similar to the biblical Adam, thus producing the first modern humans capable of labor, language, and reproduction, and these humans, taught by the Anunnaki, spread across the earth carrying with them the divine gifts of farming, building, calendars, and written law, but some stories suggest they carried something else, blood that was part human and part god, leading to the rise of hybrid rulers such as Gilgamesh, described as 2/3 divine and 1/3 human, the son of a goddess and a mortal, whose strength, wisdom, and ambition reflected his celestial heritage, and throughout ancient cultures, from Egypt's pharaohs claiming descent from Ra, to Japan's emperors tracing lineage to the goddess Amaterasu, to Mesoamerican kings believed to be born of sky beings, the pattern of divine bloodlines appears, raising the question of whether these lines continued through history, preserved by careful intermarriage among royal families, which could explain the mysterious Rh-negative blood type found in only about 15% of the world's population, a trait incompatible with Rh-positive blood in reproduction, suggesting a genetic divergence that some believe could point to non-human ancestry, with its highest concentration in the Basque people of the Pyrenees, whose language and origins remain a mystery, leading some to link them to the lost civilization of Atlantis, itself often tied to myths of ancient sky gods. And from here the theory deepens, for David Icke proposed that these ancient bloodlines are not just remnants of extraterrestrial genetics but specifically reptilian in nature, descendants of shape-shifting beings from the Alpha Draconis star system who established their rule in the cradle of civilization, interbreeding with humans to produce hybrids placed in positions of power, from ancient kings to modern political leaders and banking elites, a theory tying the phrase, blue blood, to actual differences in physiology, preserved through centuries of closed-circle royal marriages, and if such a lineage exists, it could explain the enduring control of a small group over global affairs, for according to Icke, these beings thrive on fear and conflict, engineering wars, crises, and chaos to maintain dominance while keeping humanity distracted, and intriguingly, parallels emerge between this idea and biblical accounts, where in Genesis 6:4 the sons of God came to the daughters of men, and produced the Nephilim, giants of great strength and renown, often equated by researchers with the Anunnaki, whose hybrid offspring became warriors and rulers until the Great Flood, which the Bible describes as God's judgment on a corrupted earth. Yet after the flood, remnants of these giants appear again in the form of the Anakim, the Rephaim, and other giant tribes encountered by the Israelites, culminating in figures like Goliath of Gath, whose towering height and immense power made him a legend. And while the ancient world feared these beings, the possibility remains that traces of their DNA survived in certain families, hidden in plain sight, not producing giants today but perhaps manifesting as exceptional intelligence, influence, or the enigmatic Rh-negative blood, and even in modern times, stories like the Giant of Kandahar, where soldiers reportedly encountered and killed a massive humanoid in the mountains of Afghanistan, hint at the persistence of something beyond normal human parameters, leading us back to the central question. If the Anunnaki or their hybrid descendants once walked the earth, could they still be among us, subtly guiding the course of civilization from behind the scenes, their presence felt in the concentration of power, the secrecy of elite groups, the symbols inherited from ancient Sumer, Egypt, and beyond, and perhaps in the very blood flowing through the veins of certain individuals, linking us to a chapter of history that blurs the line between myth and reality, suggesting that the human story may not be solely of this world, but intertwined with forces from the stars whose legacy continues to shape our destiny even now.